shout out, Mayegun don't come, Mayegun the command of the masses, Mayegun don't come, Mayegun the political, Mayegun don't come, this one not day of in mind, Mayegun don't come, person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Mayegun don't come. My people make you shout. Mayegun don't come. Man of the masses, Mayegun don't come, Mayegun diary, Mayegun la wa mo do, Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
You're there.
La wa mo do, Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Mayegun ti de o, ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live. Thank you. Please share this broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. And just tag whoever you can tag and tell them that Mayegun Deo. Now you can take your time to read the caption of the broadcast if you are watching us, if you're watching this live, most importantly. So the rider for this chat today is that if you have already known, good. If you haven't, well, now you do. Nigeria Naira, for the first time in its history, crossed the border, and today it is 800 Naira to $1. Ha! APC. You did this one. I'll tell you more.
And yes, we like and yes, we like
Yomi Totu, welcome to the service, and every one of you as well. Now, if you read further, there is this short part of that caption that said that Tifnumbu is going to win 2023 election, but he is going to break Nigeria up. I'll tell you more about that. It's a fake news eventually, but it's like they shot themselves in the foot and they couldn't take what was coming. But we'll talk about that. Yes. Atiku is in America. I asked a question. I said, could it be that Oban Paro lied to millions of people for years? Or could it be that the same waiver they gave to Atiku in 2019 when they thought maybe, just maybe he could pull it off and defeat Bokwari? What was, some are saying that he went to America on the diplomatic as aid to Tambua. No. You'll get to know a bit tonight. talking about Fowobe, that's where I'm going to start from. Usually, right, I am such a very rare person to see just out there. Not because there's anything special, no. It's because I am so private. I don't party. I don't club. And then, yeah, you will barely, you can say I barely socialize. However, whenever I have a chance, an opportunity of being with other people out there, especially either here in Glasgow or any part of the UK that I've been to, there are some certain questions people have asked. One of them is that, Mayegun, we have seen a lot of people, well, in the past and as well as in the present, when they tend to be very vocal, then at some point, we don't know what happened to them. They just suddenly, like 360 degree, you found them defending the same criminals that they have kind of exposed all their lives on social media. But Mayegun, what if somebody approaches you and say, name your price? What would you like to? Initially I told somebody before today, said, sometimes some of us, we are kind of overrating ourselves. Do you get that? I belong to the generation of Shebi Otimo, Elewa Sharpmo. I said that I have an opportunity to be able to express myself all the time. Then I have listeners. Does not put me in the bracket or basket of somebody that is worth of anything, of money, to these rogues. That's what I said. I said, I don't think I am that valuable to somebody too. I said, secondly, I am not approachable. Let's be honest. Okay? I am not approachable. Like I said, you barely see me. I barely take calls. I barely reply messages. And how? And it was like, but what if they want it for good to support? I said, you have no idea. Somehow, in this journey, I found amazing people all over the world that are always there, to give me all the support I need. Right here, on this temple. That there was never a time I was looking forward to politicians or any one of them approaching, because I'm not approachable. Let's be honest. Few times I've had interactions with politicians, especially from my own state, Ogun State. It didn't end well. They realized that, no, that guy is, unapproachable. But what I'm mostly after is that when I see the good, any good done, right? And I realize that this particular good is going to impact genuinely on the life and lives of millions of people, I don't shy away from it. I'll say it. But you see, Nigeria is a place whereby even when the politicians do anything that looks good, in my own book, they mostly come back as like a mistake or a smoke screen. Nothing they do when they sit down and conspire about whatever territory or whichever territory they are managing and stealing from, they are not sitting to plan anything good. So in my own book, they are just of no good. Because when you put the good and the bad and the worst and you put them beside themselves, and you realize that you could barely, even with a microscope, you could barely see the good they claim to be doing without seeing the fraud behind that good. Do you understand? Although many of you feel like even if they do, at least they are doing something. But in my own book, which I have never been wrong about them, is that whatever good they do for you, listen, if you pay attention very well, you realize that they have actually robbed you and hurt you even worse than what they said they were trying to fix. So because of this, I became just Mayegun. And the meaning of that Mayegun is that somebody who wants the world to be orderly and peaceful. And do you know what brings peace and orderliness into homes, into family, into, orderliness is justice, equity, fairness. Do you understand those words? They are not just words, though. They are words that if you follow them with action, you will see orderliness. You will see peace. But where there is no justice, where there is no equity, where there is no fairness, there is no fairness in wealth distribution, you know that. There is no fairness in opportunity distribution, you know that. And what you now have is classism. That's Nigeria. And to make it worse, no matter what side you think you belong to, in the name of Nigeria, right? You are a victim of their own misgovernance. Their misgovernance, their injustice, their unfairness, their inequality, and every other thing they've brought into the whole system that has divided people and made so many of you to loathe yourselves. You hate yourselves with so much passion that if an opportunity presents itself, whenever a slight opportunity presents itself, you don't waste any time in getting your frustration, your anger meted on those who become unfortunate of your age. You set them ablaze. Oh, ole. You set them ablaze. Oh, ole. You lynch them. But the criminals, who are the real criminals, they receive a warm chorus welcome from you. So no matter where you belong, in my book, in which you should know whether you are a Christian, a Muslim, Northerner, Southerner, Easterner, Westerner, and any other tribe you come from, the Nigeria you have today, everybody is collecting his own share. And that is why it won't make any sense for anybody to think one day this Mayegun is going to change. The only thing that will change Mayegun, which I am actually looking forward to, is when the real justice is done, where fairness in the system is, exists, and the equity and equality that actually indeed place you all equal before the law. Then there will be peace and orderliness. There are so many things that could bring this about, and that is why it is a waste of time. It is a waste of question, or should I say, it is a waste of hope. That I know, this Mayegun, I know it's like you don't know. See, my likes are not many. There are no two Mayegun, and you can take that to the bank all the time. Because personally, I feel like if there should be any justice at all to start with, it should start from how did we come together to agree to be part of Nigeria? Let us start from that scratch and ask this general question from everyone. Would you still love to be part of Nigeria? That's a very straightforward question. Yes or no? And everything else will follow. We are watching it right before our very eyes. Nigeria is deteriorating. The Nigeria future is completely evaporating right before our eyes. The economy. This is not just like, the whole world is suffering from economic COVID, Russia, hello. Nigeria has been suffering from one pandemic to another since 1960 that has stunted our growth, stunted the progress of the people. And it has become a jungle where it has become the survival of the fittest. This is no longer a land of opportunity. And every day, that land continues to be stifled. And I mean, to be milked and dried up. And the opportunity continues to dry up as well. So this day, you have more people who are going to be born in poverty and they will die in poverty. You know why? I don't know how old you are. But Nigeria, the next 40 years of Nigeria, in fact, the next 60 years of Nigeria has been mortgaged enough that we will all have to live through poverty. Do you understand what I mean? It means that whatever you are witnessing right now, this is how it's going to be, even worse for the next 60 years, except you change course. And how do you change course? You don't continue to do the same thing again and again and expect a different result. Right before our eyes, the future of our own generation and the generation coming after us are no longer looking forward to a greater Nigeria. They are looking forward to an opportunity to leave Nigeria or an opportunity to be part of those milking Nigeria. And, it's like a bubble. It keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. At a point, it will have no space to take in anyone anymore. And guess what? Boom, it will burst. So when these guys came in 2015, I was talking about the debt profile. The Nigerian debt profile now has been stretched to over 60 years. Do you know what that means? Except you break up Nigeria now, share the debt, share the assets, and then maybe go about and seek for debt forgiveness or a new management where you are not going to say Nigeria. In a way, let everybody handle their own affairs in their own different region. And in this case, maybe, just maybe, we can possibly save an extra 30 years that has been mortgaged. Save half of that, of the 60 years they've mortgaged. Maybe, just maybe, with what they have done now. So, when these guys came in, the Nigerian Naira was 190 Naira to $1. Okay? And for some of you who might be like, then what is this force? What is all this force about dollars? You guys don't spend dollars. So why are you worried about dollars and other? I'll tell you, okay? Except if you actually know, but it is one of your own safe zone to safe zone to hide from the truth, or you are just an hypocrite, or you just don't know at all. Any of those, I'll give you the reasons why. Nigeria is an import-dependent country. What that means is that a country of 220 million people depends largely on the foreign importation of almost everything that they need in that country. Now, that might be shocking, right? Well, it shouldn't be. It has always been like that for a very long time. But at a time in the history of Nigeria, they managed to cut down that importation by locally, producing some of them, including agro products that they could grow in Nigeria. And Nigeria really depends on importation of food to the point that they were importing cooked egusi soup from China in sachet, in a sachet bag. Now, to import from anywhere means you have to buy from them. Take, for example, all over the world, right? Almost 60% to 70% of a world trade currency, the currency that they use to trade all over the world is dollars. Only few countries take their own currency, or euro or pound sterling as well. But well, if you are dealing with the UK. So Nigerians who are importers, who go abroad to bring those goods down to Nigeria, they can't pay them in Naira. Since you are not producing them, so you would have to rely on whatever cost you are given. And then you have to rely as well on your central bank to provide you with that forex. Normally, that Nigeria is producing about, should be producing about 2 million barrels in a day, but Nigeria is producing about 1.2 million barrels in a day. Now, that 1.2 million barrels a day that Nigeria is producing, they are not taking 100% of that money. You know, a barrel is $107 or so now. Yeah. So normally that should be like a rush of dollar to Nigeria. But here is something you should know as well. The extraction of crude oil in Nigeria is not done by Nigeria. It's done by different private companies, like oil companies. That you hear oil companies. They brought their own equipment. They extract those oil. So in partnership with Nigeria, so they pay royalty to Nigeria. I don't know how much they pay in percentage, but if you sell a crude oil of, a barrel of crude oil for $107, the companies will take their own share from it and they will give the royalty to Nigeria. Now, that royalty to Nigeria government under this APC, which ordinarily is not much since they are losing their own oil to thieves in Niger Delta and all the areas, right? Now, the Boko Haram's government, they now created a sort of a bottomless hole to sink and then to bury those forex that is coming from crude oil sale. What is that? It is called subsidy. Something that Nigeria used to spend 200 billion on in a year. Nigeria is now spending about 4 trillion in a year for subsidy. That is to make sure that you are not buying a liter of fuel for 600 naira per liter. So they are paying trillions to marketers who take crude oil out of Nigeria and they bring in the finished product. But if they have to sell them per liter, you will pay through your nose. So they are now, the money for crude oil that they are selling, the subsidy payment is taking it. In fact, they are now running at loss, that they have to start borrowing money to pay for that subsidy too, which means all the money generated from the crude oil sale in Niger Delta, they can't come in regularly anymore. So that is like Nigeria have no real regular forex supply. So where do you think the traders who want to bring in the goods to Nigeria would then have to find the dollars? That is why dollars now became scarce. So from 199 naira to $1 in 2015, it jumped to 250, 270 to $1, 350 to $1, 450 to $1, 550 to $1, 450 again. Your dollar don't crash. It is no longer 550 naira to $1. It is now 470. Yes, we know it's still going to go down. But Baba, I said dollar was dollar they carried them a handicap. So within a week or two, it went back to 500, 505, 550, and then on to today, 800 naira. So you may wake up tomorrow and they will say dollar is now 710 naira. And you will see the APC, sellers, they will be jubilating. Yeah, it's still going to crash. Asiwaju has not become president. Dollar don't they crash. Forgetting the fact that these Olori Burukus met dollars. They met that naira at 199 naira. And they promised you that the reasons why Nigeria continue to lose, the naira continue to lose its value is because Nigeria is not producing anything. So Nigeria is having to sell and buy dollars all the time. Do you get that scope? So I just said I should say that to you, okay? So you may wake up tomorrow morning and they will say, no, it's not 800 naira, Mayegun. It is 760 naira now. I know it's high, but don't let us carry fake news. It is not Olori Buruku. They forgot that 7 years ago, it was 190 naira to $1, and they promised you that they will make that dollar equal to naira, or they will make naira equal to dollar. Now it is 800 naira. So no wonder they decided to, their election is gaining the, what do you call it? The bite now. The teeth is coming out. Everybody is like getting set to stifle themselves and all that, right? Atiku is in America. Convincing, according to his own handler, they said Atiku is in America trying to explain to the Americans that the security threats in Abuja and across Nigeria, he can handle it. But we'll come back to that of Atiku. So, Nigeria, we woke up this morning. In fact, it was yesterday. Then, and they said, breaking news. Tifnumbu is going to win the 2023 election, but it is going to be the end of Nigeria. So the APC, Egbekegbe, they pick that. Shebi shall go win, Abi. Ingo shall win. Everything else now your own prediction. Do you get that now? However, within hours, when people started digging, they found out that it's actually fake news. Well, it's not fake news. It was like an opinion of somebody called, who was writing from Lagos. Let me see if I still have that name. No. So there was this guy who was writing from Lagos, and he was comparing what is the current his own electoral map, they call it. And he said, some of them that I actually picked myself, and I want to share that with you because some of them we have actually shared them on this platform several times. Okay. So we know that normal, there shouldn't be anywhere where people should still be standing up to, with the wreckage, with the destruction, with the division, with the killings, and the shame these criminals have brought upon Nigeria in the last 7 years, that they shouldn't even find anybody confident enough to come out and say, I am supporting APC, but it's Nigeria. You get what I mean now? It is Nigeria. But nevertheless, they also know that it's not going to be an easy ride, because it's never been. They are the chief propagandists. They are those who can push any narrative as false as it might be. They can push it until you begin to believe that it is actually true. But here are some ingredients that guy pointed out when he first released that article, until we realized that it wasn't actually like a Fitch. You know that Fitch, American Fitch ratings, that American rating company. The ones that always like run polls here and there and all that. You know that. But it was published as if to say it was them who did something and said no. But in that submission, that guy said Tifnumbu and then APC, Egbekegbe, they have so much to lose if they should lose the power. That's the start, right? Then the guy said, so many people within APC, Egbekegbe, so many of them, they might be double dealing, which is like they might be working for Atiku. But on the other hand, they have a lot to lose as well if their party lose power at the center. That's second base. Then the third one is that now that Peter Obi has divided PDP, which has further reduced the PDP chance that Atiku used in 2019 that didn't really work. So that then presents Tifnumbu, who has so much money, to share and give and buy those that can be bought, like, votes buyer. What do you call that thing? What do you call that thing again? Vote buying. Is that what you call it? No, there's a name for it. When they give you money, it's called vote buying. That he has the deepest pockets, that he can buy anyone buyable. And at the same time, because his party is nominating the chairman of, the party is the one in charge of the INEC and the police and the military, things we've said here. So the guy said they can also make sure that those who want to challenge them, that their numbers, their base, and their voters in their different bases are, drastically reduced or altered, including if they have to use violence to disrupt them from voting. All of this they can do. Then finally, he said, with the Muslim tickets, Nigeria is at the gate of a collapse. Like, when you are traveling. I say, you are currently traveling through challenge. When you now, when you are about to finish or to get to the end of challenge, you reach gates. That gate is the breakup gate of Nigeria. So they now said, because Nigeria has been divided by APC, Egbekegbe, they started this AIDS campaign, this divisive campaign, this tribal ethnic profiling, this religious profiling, and so many other things that they have brought into the campaign of Nigeria. Don't forget, they said Nigeria hasn't recovered. That guy said Nigeria hasn't recovered from 2014, 2015. And it's true. So many of you still have that PTSD. And every time they say election, they come. Now that time you they remember. The Yorubas are this, the Igbos are that, the Yausas are this, the Fulanis are that. And it is always every time, Abi. The people who make sure that they planted that in you so well. APC, Egbekegbe, they said they are going to do it, and they are already doing it. In fact, the guy said they are already doing it. So what will now happen is that APC have in their own, on their side, the tool to weaken their challengers by using the same rhetoric they used in 2014, 2015. And that's exactly what is happening now, right? So what will then happen is that since they would have to want to maintain the status quo, the economic downturn will continue. The ethnic profiling and then tribal profile will continue. The religious persecution will continue. All the things you are witnessing now will continue. Now, since in 7 years, APC, Egbekegbe have been able to make every one of us to understand where we belong. The Nigeria that you belong to, everybody know in place now. So since they have achieved that, so in another 2-3 years, if they have a chance of not ending up in jail and they still end up in that same power and controlling it, now on top Tifnumbu, everything goes scatter. Somebody shout hallelujah, be amen, amen. Because you know what I said that? He has this man who has been disturbing me. I know he's watching. When I say disturbing me, I mean somebody who has been sending me messages, and whenever I find the time to check and I see, and I'm going to see like 80 messages. Do you know what this person have been sending to me? He's been messaging to tell me that Natif Nubu give them Yoruba nation. That is why Yorubas have to support Tinubu so that he can break Nigeria and give them Yoruba nation. So when I said say amen, somebody, because somebody who are living in that illusion as well, could also help in bringing you on into that into that destined for doom vehicle, using you as a bait. I am a Yoruba, so because you know what I mean, when they have no idea what they are talking about, because according to this, if Tinubu come there, he's going to declare Yoruba nation. I said, then where is then going to be president of where? No, he's just going to come home and become president of Yoruba nation. I was like, well, they are right in all they said. The reasons why we are talking about the Nigeria's bogus unity, the Nigeria's fraudulent amalgamation, the damages, the ruins these have caused us from one generation to another. We know at this point, ladies and gentlemen, that for the first time, everybody was able to agree and say something is wrong. And if nothing is done, the end is going to be so disastrous. Something that people said, those who are saying that are agents or prophets of doom, they are not. You have agents of doom agent of destruction, agent of ruin, and the rest of them who are controlling the vehicle of Nigeria, and the way they are recklessly doing it, they are directing or driving it towards doom. They are the agent of doom. Those trying to raise your consciousness or your subconscious mind are the prophet of freedom. Put it that way. Because the point here is this: Tifnumbu himself, like others who have managed to escape the justice. If there is justice, I have told people, if there is justice, if there is law, and if there is order, if there's equity and fairness, Bokwari by now in family members supposed to do the remembrance. You know why? Because none of you will probably read about him, anything good about him, because he would have been hung. Yeah, they would have hung him. Because he was the first person, the first terrorist trained by Nigeria, fed by Nigeria, and then he turned his gun on Nigeria to take over power, and he destroyed Nigeria within just 30 months. So normal, that thing, by now, nobody should even hear about Bokwari anywhere, talk less of him coming back to ruin your lives again. Now, this time around, he has now placed this 60 years poverty embargo on all of us who are going to be here. Though few of us are going to fight and escape it. But what is the difference between, how much difference do you have between 6 and 7? As they say. What's the difference between half a dozen, 6 and half a dozen? You see people who make, when you think you are fighting and getting out of poverty, then you realize that the system is pulling more people into that poverty. And within your circle alone, there's so much people that will have to cling on to you if you should by any means have some money, or you are a little bit above water, your head is above water. You know what I'm talking about? So eventually, one rich man as somebody once told me, he said, Mayegun, if you see any palatial estate anywhere, there is a slum. I'm talking about slum where people are living wretchedly 10 minutes away. And he's right. I told him, I said, well, some of them now who believe that they are living in a posh area, the posh areas are pretty much like slums these days anyway. Do you get that now? So to those of us who knows that with what Nigeria has become, with what these guys have done, it is ideal for people who know better to do better. When we say know better, simply means that if you have a chance of telling somebody something, let it be the truth that you personally believe in as well. And here is the truth. The criminals who are angling to be in charge of Nigeria, as we have said many times, it's just like a turn-by-turn Nigeria Limited, right? APC, Egbekegbe, that brought this reality to all of us. The breaking point where everybody feels like, if nothing happens and then, they have to continue, it's better everybody brace up, because it's just going to get worse and bumpy again. And it's true. So who want to take that ride? I'll come back to that. So they said that if they now push their Muslim ticket, and they come to power, what that simply just certified is that at this point, just forget everything you have been taught about Nigeria and begin to live the new reality, which is your present reality, because there is more from where that comes from, according to them. So let me quickly take a dash to redeem. This one, I saw it earlier when I was coming on as well. Initially, right, somebody said that, what do you call it? In fact, there's something I wanted to say before I go to this, because I want to go to Redeem Church, a quick one. You've heard about the Murik guy, that Baba Murik, that guy, yeah. They said it's now fighting for why are there no mosque inside the Redeemed Church, Redeemed Camp. That if they have, JAMB centers there, GC centers there, YX centers there, right? They must have mosques there for those who are students, who are Muslims and all that, right? Anyway, I'll come back to that again. I remember what I wanted to say earlier. I was talking about justice. So if there was justice, Bokwari, Tifnumbu, and most of the guys who are now presenting themselves as your saviors today, majority of them either would have been banned from public office, from holding any public office, or they would have been dead by now because of the level of, atrocities they've committed. Atrocities they've committed against you over the years. But every year they get rewarded and rewarded and rewarded with something more and more, and they make your life more miserable and miserable and unfortunate and unfortunate. So justice, equity, fairness, that is what is missing. Do you get that now? So let's come back. And that is also what is pointing to Atiku. Let me give you a quick background of Atiku's America story, because it's always good to have the background story. Atiku took his team, and they are currently in Washington, D.C. Why is it a big deal? What is so biggie? Why do they need American validation? Why do they need British validation? It is the same reason why that Nigeria, who have nothing in common, ethnic nationalities who have nothing in common, are fused and forced together to form a country that wasn't really supposed to be a country, but just like an empire, a commercial empire for the British crown. So if you want to lead that empire as it is this day and time, you will need the validation of these people, So, but what is the story behind that Atiku can go to America and all of that stuff? What's the big deal? I'll tell you. Now, the big deal is that when Obasanjo was president of Nigeria, this man, Atiku Abubakar, from Adamawa State, was his vice president. Now, Obasanjo, an ex-convict, convicted of treason, trying to overthrow Abacha, who later died. So they brought Obasanjo out of prison. Very, Nigeria, who gave him everything, they've taken almost everything from him. He had nothing. But you see, this guy, he's been in politics since 1992. And within a year that he joined politics for real, he said he's been following Shehu Yar'Adua and all of that from his own background, right? Now, within a year, he ran for office to become president of Nigeria against MKO Abiola. At the Just Convention, he stepped down for Abiola, right? Just to register his name at the national politics. So fast forward to 1999, Obasanjo picked him to be his vice. And his vice, he became. Remember, Obasanjo, a soldier, just came out of prison. Nobody really is, the soldiers wanted him to lead. And he really doesn't have politicians as friends. So Atiku, who was retired, who retired from custom according to his record. When he retired from custom, he made so much money. But before he retired from custom, right, he made so much money. He was in trading and he was a billionaire, according to himself. So he has so much money that he went into politics and he was able to run for president in 1993. So again, back to 1999. Okay. So the military that wanted Obasanjo to come and be the president of Nigeria funded this election. So Atiku was just to fill in the gap of the political, the politicians and their ways. So Atiku probably used that Shehu Yar'Adua, Musa Yar'Adua, PDM movement or something then, right? Let me take his picture off so that you can see my face. I'm giving you Atiku's history, undiluted one. So when he came to Obasanjo's government, Obasanjo was commander-in-chief of the armed forces as a soldier. And they quickly made the law that empowered the president to make his vice the head of the economic council of the country. So this opened Atiku up, right, to build network of friends with benefits. Friends with benefits across Nigeria, while Obasanjo was junketing all over the world, begging for the debt forgiveness for Nigeria. So within 3 years, Atiku has become so powerful politically. The vice president was like the president. The people that really matter politically, including in their party, PDP, they would rather talk to Atiku than talk to Obasanjo. When Obasanjo realized this, it was too late. They had to make Obasanjo beg him. Atiku won those people by his generosity. And his generosity is how much of Nigeria assets he gave to those friends. And guess what? When you talk about that generosity, Atiku was nice to all of the thieves from all of the tribes, from all of the religion. That's why he has a lot of friends, but they are friends with benefits. To the point that they didn't really see Obasanjo as president. Atiku was seen as, well, cut the long story short, we didn't know what he gave to them until 3-4 years later. And this is the story. While Obasanjo was going about everywhere, Atiku was given the mandate to go out there and find out and discover all of the assets of the government. You remember, military just left. So Obasanjo in prison. The civilians have no idea where money day, where we go to see money, where we go to steal money, and all of that. So that job was given to Atiku to discover where are the government properties. Which one are those ones that have been taken over by people? People were changing government property. They're changing the names to their own name when they are doing democracy, that thing. Long story short, that was how Atiku, the person who became the founder of EFCC. Do you know that it was Atiku that started EFCC? Yeah, I'll tell you that story too, but hang on. So it was so powerful that his friends became so rich. Oh no. All you have to do is to say, I found this and that in Apapa area and all of that. They say, okay, do you have go and do the paperwork. Yeah, bring the paper. So buildings, properties of government that were built with billions, they were being sold as scraps to his friends. In return, they were to remain loyal to him. That was how he built his empire under Obasanjo, to the point that Obasanjo had to prostrate for him before Atiku could allow Obasanjo to run for second term. Obasanjo said it. Obasanjo said he did not prostrate like prostrate. That what happened was that he heard that Atiku was going to run for president in 2003 instead of Obasanjo to go for second term. And Obasanjo around that time was like, I haven't even been anywhere. I have been all over the world begging for this. Atiku no do that now. That Obasanjo said at a point he wanted to prostrate, but they quickly hold him. They held him. No. It's all right, Mr. President. No, it's when elder say, when they are talking to you and they're like, do you want me to beg you? If you want me to prostrate, I'll prostrate for you. And then you're like, no, don't prostrate. No, it's okay. Gazikiani. That decision, even Atiku himself, in one of his own book, he said he regretted it. That time, Obasanjo was vulnerable. He's nothing. He's just president. That was why immediately they came for their second term. Obasanjo faced him and his friends. First, Obasanjo started going after his friends. Atiku realized that, Obasanjo started setting up a net, trap for him all over the world, including America. That was the genesis of if you go America, if you go, if you go. Okay? So, to the point that Obasanjo wanted him impeached, arrested for corruption, and jailed before they completed their 2007. Before they completed their 8 years. But Atiku had friends. I mean, as somebody said, they said, at the Abuja chicken, nobody fit finish him. Abacha came, he looted and looted and looted and looted. He died. Abdul Salami came. They said that was this all billions. He's looted and looted and looted. It's gone. Obasanjo came. He looted and looted. Abuja chicken, no they finish. That they call him. So Atiku had access to these resources everywhere, all over the place. Ports, airports, what do you call it? Land borders, everywhere. His friends, they were buying things up. Hotels, everywhere. Landed properties everywhere. He was giving them as giveaway. Obasanjo started going after them. When Atiku realized that he was coming after him, to the point that Obasanjo went as far as going after his wives. Atiku's wives, who are laundering money for him. He got to a stage whereby Atiku, as vice president of Nigeria, was probably flying his own, what do you call it? It was like, it was just on his own, like, he couldn't go to some certain places. Remember Alamesia? That was the treatment Obasanjo wanted to give to Atiku. When they told him, no, we cannot do that to vice president of Nigeria. No. It's okay, what if he's impeached? But by the time Obasanjo will get to the National Assembly, Atiku owns almost half of them. The remaining half, they don't like Obasanjo as well. So last, Atiku was able to succeed. I mean, to survive. But that was the genesis of his corruption, this corruption that Obasanjo gave his dossier to Interpol or everybody all over the world, including America. So immediately after Atiku's tenure in 2007, America became a no-go area. Not because he couldn't, because he's entitled to diplomatic passport for life. Do you know that? If you are a president and vice president, you are entitled to diplomatic passport for the rest of your life in Nigeria. Do you know that? You don't? Except if they say they should take it from you for some reason, maybe court or no. In fact, they can't. I don't think they can. Can they? So Atiku can go to anywhere in the world with his diplomatic passport. But the reason why he won't go to everywhere in the world was because Obasanjo ghost is haunting him as well. You know what happened, Dini? I mean, everybody associated with Atiku, where they collect money from Nigeria, collected from Obasanjo's witch hunting. Everybody who collected bribe, Atiku, they collect bribe for contract. They have to come to him. BPE, Bureau of a Public Enterprise, public enterprise length. People were coming to bid for government properties. They were coming from you pay bribe. He's in charge. That was so huge. Even Obasanjo couldn't uproot him. Some of you are looking today are like, how come he's been spending money to become president all this while and the money never finished? Enough he finish. You see what these guys did to Nigeria? If you have a clue, you will never want Nigeria to be sustained for them for another night. All of them. If Abacha no die, go hear all these things so they hear. Abacha died. Look at what they have stolen from Nigeria after that. After Abacha. Look at what individuals are stealing. Individuals, civil servants, and the rest of them. Politicians and all of them. You see? It's if you don't cut it off, you will be shocked. Well, maybe not shocked anyway, because it's like a turn by turn anyway. Atiku has so much money. He has so much assets. Nigerian assets that are held in proxy for him. Even Obasanjo don't know where they. He don't know all of them. We are talking about trillions and trillions worth of assets of Nigeria. There are people, thousands of people are holding on his behalf right there. Some of them, like they will never find out. Abacha's wife said, no matter how much money they take from them, they will never be as poor as Dangote. And Dangote is the richest black man alive. Richest man in Africa. Richest black man on earth. The wife of a kleptomaniac general. A murderous general. A late dictator. The wife of a late dictator in Nigeria said, no matter how much Nigeria collects from them, they will never be as broke as Dangote. That's somebody with $12 billion. So how much is Dangote's worth? 20, $12 billion. So far, so good. They have recovered over $5 billion of Abacha loot. And the wife said, no matter how much they collected anything, forget it. They will never be as broke as a public fund. So Atiku is still alive. You will never know how much of your money. So he's in America, So in 2019, what happened is this. Some said, that's why they are calling him Adimeru. Some of you will be wondering, why are they calling Atiku Adimeru? I'll tell you. In 2015, it was APC lover boy. Lovey. Atiku is on our side. This one is on our side. That is why sorry. Obedience. That is why sometimes you guys are just like jokes to me. Thieves, criminals. Hey, they don't come to our side. Let's forget about that, Jare. We need to move on. This country, you are telling yourselves lies. I've seen that before. Oniro, you are lying. Atiku was a darling to the APC, Egbe. When he left them in 2017 or so, after Bokwari came to take the contract of collecting tax in Lagos Seaport, Lagos Port, Bokwari came. We didn't know that Atiku's friends, Atiku's company, Intel, has been collecting tax from Apapa Seaport since 2002. You remember those times where they said that they sell all the properties? Apapa Wharf is one of them. How can you have Ministry of Finance? You have a Federal Inland Revenue Service. You have staff, civil servants. Their job is to generate revenue for government, to tabulate the revenue and make sure that taxes are paid as at when due. Only for in Nigeria, the civil servants can't do the job they are employed to do. They will now have to say they are giving the job to companies owned by the weary criminals, politicians, who decided to leave all the civil servants in there, stealing, changing figure, falsifying figure, writing budget, and all of that, stealing, but not really doing the job. So they now give the jobs to themselves, their companies, their private, their friends and family. They say, yeah, go and collect the tax for us. You can take 30% and give government 70%. That's what Atiku did since 2002. Now, 2015, his friend, Bokwari, terminated the contract. You know why they terminated? They said, since 2002, they realized that Atiku's Intel company barely remits anything they generated from Apapa. Shebi, you remember now where they brought this Salisu Abisu Monu, Abigu Zuberu, Abikilo Koma, Onirungbon Fufun, that man with that custom Ali, that one where they break for that way they declare 1 trillion, 1.5 trillion, one skinny called trillion. You know that.